All right, welcome everyone. welcome. I'm so excited. We're on day 5 of the Intuition Challenge. Akasha here, Nan Akasha, and thank you so much for joining me this week. I'm getting such wonderful feedback from everyone saying they're loving it. And hi, Gina. And so today is what's interesting about this is I've let intuition guide what the topics were going to be this week. And each day, it's pretty much come through the day before when I'm sending out the reminder. I'm writing a reminder email. And so when yesterday was epic, I hope you revisit it or you watch it if you missed it. I was on money intuition. And we really went deep into lots and lots of, it was like a class. So I would highly recommend going and listening to it. It's one of those things I've been dealing with my whole life, and I really have a lot of amazing experiences through hundreds, probably thousands of clients around the globe around that topic of money, success, wealth, esteem, self-esteem, and self-love. They're very entangled. So I gave you lots and lots of tips in that one, and we did a really awesome process. We did one on seeing with your soul, so letting go. There was an amazing light body energy clearing, and each of these things is a healing, it's a clearing, and it comes through me organically because over the years, developing my ability to see in direct energy, to perceive, to shamanic travel with my clients, to read, to all these different things that happen with your intuitive senses. So when we say intuition, it sounds a little bit limited, but it isn't. It is really the overarching way of saying your subtle self or body, which is vast, and the multiverse, the many universes, the source energy, it's just like there's this infinite field, and it's filled with energies. You can access those. You're not the one person who's not supposed to be able to access those. And a lot of times we feel that way. So doubt is going to be what we dive into today. So as it was coming through yesterday, we did have another one where you were hearing your inner voice. So we've addressed seeing with your soul, hearing with your inner voice, cleansing and clearing your light body, expanding. One time we were held and hugged by our higher selves. Oh, I remember that vividly, just this sensation. And every time you repeat one of these, or in the Intuition Awakening class, you're going to have all of these experiences, these different lengths, attunements or visualizations or activations, because over the years I've learned that when I repeated the work that I did, so I had a mentor, we would go meet live somewhere on the planet, and we would do epic things in pyramids and everything, and then energy work, and we would meet in a room, in a big ballroom, for 4 or 5 days, usually, learning new energy, mystery school, sacred geometry, understanding things, symbols, learning, just intuiting and expanding in so many different ways. And he pulled together ancient and new things, cutting edge things that nobody has ever really perceived, with ancient things that have been proven through time to be very effective and powerful. So we're awakening right now. It's an epic time on the planet. I'm so honored to be here. I'm so honored that you're here. And this opportunity to talk about this topic, which I didn't call intuition when I first got onto my spiritual path, I call it. When my fashion design business collapsed at the end of the 80s, nobody paid me, and I had to move on in life. Really felt like a huge failure. So it was the deconstruction number 1. Life is more of a journey. If you were reading the book about your life, if you were watching the movie about your life, you would be watching, cheering yourself on. You'd be like, oh no, look at that, what she had to go through. Oh wow, way to go, way to come back, way to rise above that, way to whatever, right? So if we thought of ourselves as a hero or heroine of our journey, and we were more interested in being in the journey than judging it, doubting ourselves, thinking we're not good enough, listening to everyone else's opinions. We talked a lot about that earlier in the week. It's one of the hardest things to do, is unhook from everyone else's opinions, because from day one you were taught to pay attention to them. So we have programming, conditioning, and a life and lifetimes of experience that's telling us what to do and what to expect. And we have to break free of that in order to explore new possibilities, because you don't have to be the starving artist like every other artist out there, because, well, if you don't go get a job that you hate and you don't go somewhere, that is really like work for IBM or something, then you will have this, terrible life and you're going to fail. And you think, I remember my ex-husband, he said, one of the only regrets he had of his childhood was that his family hadn't been more encouraging for him to go out and do things. They were more like, why are you working so hard, and so on. And he was inspired and creative and artistic, and he wanted to go out and do things. And he did, but he didn't feel like he got the support. So wherever you feel like you didn't get supported, you weren't seen, you weren't allowed to express yourself, you weren't allowed, I've had clients over the years who weren't even allowed to move in their own bedroom, or go get a glass of water in their own house without being criticized or bullied, or just the amount of fear and manipulation that everybody has been taught to live life with. You threaten people, right? You're taught to do it with your children. You're taught to do it, but your inner you doesn't want to be doubting yourself every 5 seconds. It's exhausting. The inner you doesn't want to be figuring out, what do they want? What do they think? What do they want? What do they think? What will they think? This is where we've been, and adrenal fatigue and depression, right, is on epic proportions. All kinds of strange diseases have taken over as normal now. And this is a beautiful sign that we're out of balance. And if we were listening to our bodies scream at us, imagine how much your body is talking to you, but we really don't listen unless it knocks us down. And so the inner doubt, oh, I feel like doing this. And then there's these barriers, like hurdles on a track, that is this inner doubt. Oh, well, what if money's usually the number one block that's in there, right? And it's not just like, hey, what if I did that? And you start imagining, let's take a retreat. Let's take a retreat if you like to travel, if there's someplace you wanted to go. So I'm going to be doing retreats again soon, and but I did them for years. And so somebody said, oh, I really want to go on that retreat. But the first barrier they always hit is money. Should I spend it? Should I use my credit? What if I fail again like in the past? What if it's not worth it? Will my husband or wife agree with it? I should save that money to spend on someone else. I should do this. I should do that. This has to happen first. That has to happen first. I can't go anywhere till I've achieved this level of success. On and on and on and on and on. So if you looked at the energy, you would understand that there are barriers energetically. That could be a mindset. It could be a belief. It could be a thought. It could be an emotion. It could be an emotional reaction. You can get offended to something that nobody else is offended by. Why? The offense is inside of you. It's one of these energies. So we're just this fascinating, big universe, really, of energy, and they come from all different parts of us. All that matters is as you start to look, listen, be willing to be silent, to be willing to reach your awareness out a little bit more through your body, into your fingertips, or into a different part of you, or out here. I mean, you naturally dream or daydream. I'm sure everybody here has been somewhere else and someone's talking to you and you're like, what? Oh, I didn't hear you, because you were completely absorbed in another reality, and even though your body was physically here. So as quickly as possible, get past the doubts that this isn't real, that your intuitive inner voice or your heart or your sensations or the visions or the flowers outside or a dragonfly or a place like a pyramid or a beautiful forest or something, can't talk to you, so to speak, communicate with you, have healing for you, have an energy for you, even if you never hear things talking, if you sat in one place because when you went for a walk every day, you just love this one place. My daughter has this little town. She likes to drive and move, kind of like I do. And she loves this one little town on a river about 40 miles from where she lives. So she just goes there. She just wandered, she found it, and she just, I love this place. I feel so peaceful here. Well, that's an energetic match for you at this time. You ever notice you used to love something, you don't anymore? Let it go, move on. You're evolving, you're changing, you don't want the same thing. Don't force yourself and other people into the same thing all the time. So right now there's a breakdown. That means the old ways of thinking, the old ways of working, the old ways of living, the old ways of communicating, everything is changing. We have to let go of the old and become nothing for a while and be birthed into something new. But that nothing phase, that inner womb phase, right? That is a beautiful phase because you're doing the inner work. You're listening to the inner world. You're listening to your heart, your purpose, your soul blueprint, your higher self. You have so many parts of you that know you. They know your wisdom. They know your talents. They know why you came here. They're constantly guiding you. I had a fashion design business, and that's the one that closed at the end of the 80s. And when I closed it, it was rather emotional and dramatic, and I got into a very severe car accident on the way to get a U-Haul or a truck or something to take everything out of my factory. I had my own little factory space. And so I got hit. They thought I broke my neck. They strapped me to a board. I was there for 9.5 hours. Everything on my back of me went numb, and I started to have panic attacks for the first time in my life. So I didn't have any spirituality. I didn't know how to meditate. I didn't know anything at all, but I knew that this was happening. So over the time preceding this, I was getting ready to close the company. I began to look for something different. And I said, I don't know. Everything fell apart in my life. I don't know what's real anymore. I doubted myself. I doubted what I was taught. I doubted who knew what was really going on, right? I felt completely groundless, and that's a metamorphosis. The caterpillar melts into goo. There's no form, there's no shape, there's no, oh, I'm an excellent leaf chewer, I know who I am. It's all gone. But there isn't fear there. They have something called an imaginal cell, and I believe we have something similar that is part of us that regardless of how negative, full of guilt and low depressing emotions we become, there's still this inner part of us that can reach through that dark and spark us back to say, wait a minute, I'm here for a reason. Wait a minute, I'm a unique being. Wait a minute, oh my gosh, look at this. Look at who I am. Look at what the possibility I have. It's so important to embrace this moment and who we are instead of spending most of your life, like most people, like I did, not loving yourself. In fact, not liking yourself, judging yourself, criticizing yourself, wanting to change yourself, thinking negative things about yourself. So doubt can be a very, very good tool when you use it to doubt things that no longer serve you or support you or uplift you. I don't care what the tradition is, okay? The tradition might be wonderful. I'm very fond of many ancient traditions. However, sound healing and chanting and symbols and some of the ways of the philosophies and understanding of nature and the life force and that we're one, and there's a lot of beauty. And yet I don't want to live the way that my parents did or even the way we did 30 years ago. We were way more prejudiced. We were way more conservative. We are expanding. And so when you use doubt as a tool to say, wait a minute, I'm not just going to accept this anymore. There's clearly something in my life. I feel unsatisfied. Things are falling apart. Things aren't working out. I feel frustrated. I'm exhausted. Whatever it is, okay, take a look. Now, if you don't have any of that, fantastic. If you don't have any fear over the pandemic or your income, or you feel like a lot of people, I had a client contact me the other day saying, hey, we're selling everything and we want to move. What's it like where you are? Kind of thing. And it's like, there's a lot of that happening. What is that? That's that imaginal self. That's that inner part of you that remembers who you are, why you're here, what's your journey, what's your purpose. There's different myths, fairy tales, stories, beautiful things that talk about getting lost in fairyland, right? You go into the forest, you become one with the nature spirits, and in fairyland, there's no time. You don't feel time. And there's even movies that twist it a little bit and be like, you're trapped there. It's very hard to get out. And this is really what happens to us when we don't believe in ourselves, that we don't believe that we have a higher self. We don't have that we're part of source, that we're full of a purpose. When we believe we're not good enough in any way, regardless of if it came from somebody who loved you. This is the most confusing part. So they love you, but they don't know how to express that because they've had negative treatment and conditioning and programming and experiences as well, your parents and anyone else. So we have to unhook from what everyone else thinks, because doubt can come in. Do you have anyone in your life that would be highly critical and highly verbal about it, like, in your face, bullying you or criticizing you or doing something that if they knew that you were intuitive or you were looking into becoming more intuitive? I had a client in one of my classes that was, it was a business class on how to use your spiritual energy, align your energy with your business and flow one with your intuition so that you're creating your business with the energy that's optimal for your soul's path rather than from your head, and so on and so forth. So in the first 3 months it was a year long, in the first 3 months, she healed physical issues in her body where she couldn't barely walk, and she was running and jumping on the beach. She sent me a picture of her jumping on the beach. Whee! She let herself, because she was in the environment, in the class, we were sharing and we were bringing up our fears. We were bringing up, oh, this is what happened in this last activation for me. I felt this fear come up and get stuck here, and then this memory of so-and-so, and then I felt like I was this, and then we can be like, oh, okay, here's what's going on, and so on. And so she started to trust herself. Her income went up. She was very depressed. She lived in a small town in England. She was a single mother, and she lived near her family. However, her family was very critical. The family would have freaked out. I think they were very religious and other things if they knew that she was psychic, intuitive at all. And this woman was off the charts already. She'd been trying to suppress it since she was a child because she was raised in an environment where it was not okay. The witch hunt, burned at the stake kind of fear syndrome, and it's very real. It's been being released for 20 years off this planet. I've been helping people release the inner fear of, if I speak up, if I act myself, if I help people, if I do what I love and make money, if I don't care what you think but do what I think, bad things will happen. This is what we were taught through history. So you have to understand this is a very deeply embedded collective conscious in the cells, cellular memory from this life, from other lives, from everyone around you. We have had a history of people criticizing, punishing, torturing, outcast, you could be beheaded, imprisoned, burned at the stake, criticized, ridiculed, fired, disowned, and on and on. So you pick the time frame and the form within which this sort of repression has happened. So the bottom line of all this is to recognize that you have an inner program for doubting yourself. Very few people I've met were encouraged, trust yourself, trust your heart, trust your inner voice, go for it, follow it, makes no sense, but go do it anyway. Most parents are like trying to help and yet projecting on that person what you think is best for them. And, well, you're scaring me because you're trying to be an artist. And Instead, if you were like, this is a being with a soul path and so am I, what could I do to support that person and myself? What could I be to be the one that holds them in a space and sees them as moving forward towards their heart, not becoming a slave to their life and to their doubts and to everything. So your doubts are like these hurdles. And the first one usually is money. Oh, should I spend the money? Do I have the money? And all that. The next one is time. Is it okay for me to take time off work? Do I have anyone to help with the kids? Is another one. Travel. If there's travel involved, there could be fears and doubts that come up with travel. But I can tell you by far the number one thing over the decades that I've been in business of talking to clients who want to work with me or come to something I'm doing, their first doubt is money, and number one out of that is what will they think? Usually it's a spouse. And it could be, oh, I can't argue with them, or I can only spend this much before they get upset, or I don't think they would let me. And I think that there's respectful relationships, and yet what I work with are the programs and patterns underneath not respecting yourself enough to have a say in your own life or to follow your inner intuition. So when I first started to do meditations and all these different things, and I had a friend who became a hypnotherapist, I would go over to her house. She wanted to practice. Yay, it was so much fun. And I had my first floating out of my body experience. It was epic. We were somewhere with a group of people, and she kept taking me down, and I didn't go, and I didn't go, and I didn't go, and I didn't go, and I could feel her frustration. I was just like, I don't see anything, I don't see anything, I don't see anything. I was that blocked, and I was too much in my head. So this is why I'm giving you these opportunities for exercises, energies, activations. I'm stimulating your logical mind. I'm feeding your emotional field. I'm moving your energy. I'm opening new possibilities. I'm suggesting, I'm combining all the different things that I've learned to help you break free of that and use this evolution time of really speed it up, amplified, accelerated evolution for yourself. So pretty soon though, she sensed it, I sensed it. I started to feel like my whole body, I was sitting with my eyes closed, blew up like a balloon. Like I was like a Macy's Day balloon, enormous. And I just watched it. I'd never had these sensations. I didn't have anyone that could explain to me, this is what intuition is. Here's different ways you might perceive it. Here's different ways it might come through. Don't analyze it. Just be with it, receive it, trust it, know that it's come to you. Trust it, trust it, trust it. I would have told you, I would have told myself, okay? So what would happen is I would go and we would have an epic experience. And that experience I floated up and it was just classic, like you could read about. I've never had it again. So don't want you to get attached to any one experience because they'll go back into frustration, which is a low energy, and then you won't be able to hear your higher selves and everything. So I just began, I floated up. I could see everyone in the room from my inner eye. I could see the whole room. I floated out of the building, could see everything clearly and just up, up, up away from the earth. Very, very slowly. It felt like a magnet was pulling me from behind. And I floated through darkness and then into bright light. And then I just stayed there for a while. And she kept telling me, turn around, see who's behind you. There's someone behind you. And I could feel, it felt, again, very cliche, like this enormous angel, this enormous presence just enveloping me like this. But I couldn't, in my abilities yet, I had no mastery over my awareness, my point of focus. So this is what you're going to learn in the Intuition Awakening is, what do you do when doubt comes up? How do you trust, right? How do you let go of other people's opinions and give yourself permission to start to receive these gifts? And this ended my fear of death, and it ended so many fears in my life having that one experience. So I want you to have these experiences because when you have the experience, you can't deny it. Now, I would go home from being with her and my friend who did the hypnosis, and I would have, after that, she would take me down, lower my energies into a state of relaxation, and then ask me, what do you see? And at first, I would never see anything, and sometimes I would feel something. And then this sensation of, well, I don't see it, even in my mind's eye, but I feel like I'm in a forest. Okay, let's go with that, right? Well, then I focus on the forest. And then I would think, I think I'm walking on a path, or I think there's something on my left, or there's a little house ahead, or whatever. And pretty soon these journeys would open and become more fluid. But I can tell you that I didn't see things very often at all for a long time. Now it's I see. I hear some, I know a lot. So today we're talking about clairsentience. We talked about clairvoyance and different, clairs, these are different avenues. There's many, many more than the few that we talk about. Sentience might be a sensation in your body. You might feel it on your body, or emotional sensation. You feel a sense of it. And there's the knowing, okay? So the claircognizance is knowing. You just know what you know. You don't know why you know it, but you just know. I just know I'm supposed to go talk to that person. I just know I'm meant to go to the beach. I just know that I'm meant to not go to work today and just be by myself. I just know. And really think about the times that you knew and you don't know why you knew, and you didn't analyze it, and you didn't do research, and I love both of those. You just knew. So this is what we're going to dive into today, is the death of doubt is the death of your comfort zone. And the death of doubt, meaning doubt stopping you, doubt being a hurdle for you. What happened with my client? She had this phenomenal transformation. 3 months, she's jumping and running on the beach. She's happier than she's been in a long time. And then she hit a wall. So her family not only disapproved of the idea of her using her intuitive or healing skills, but they were vehemently against it. So I say the Spanish Inquisition because it was an energy of religious belief, a lot of judgment, a lot of repression, everybody watching each other. I'm telling on you, and you better act the way I want. And if you've been raised in an environment, whatever the focus is, it's very easy for groups to become almost like bullies, right? They're watching, they're criticizing, why are you doing that? Why shouldn't you? You should do this, you can't do that. And you either become acquiescent to that, like I did, like just try to do your best and achieve a lot and help people a lot, or you go the other way and you maybe leave the situation, the best option often. So doubt is instilled because the world outside of you wants you to act a certain way, and they're not going to be happy when you decide to change. So you need a community of people. You need a place you can go. Okay, so she hit a wall. Here was the wall. She raised her vibration. She got happy. She started to have more success. She started having people come out of nowhere, knowing that she was a healer, yet she didn't tell anyone, saying, I really want you to do some healing work with me. And it shocked and delighted her. It scared her to death, as well as felt like, this is what I'm meant to do. So if you've ever been in a situation where you're like, this is scary, I don't know what to do, it's really going to upset a lot of people, or what if they don't like it? What if I fail? What if, whatever your what ifs were, right? But you felt with every fiber of your being, and you couldn't explain why, that you were meant to do that. This is claircognizance. This is your inner knowing. You are not sent down here by yourself. I say that you're on a fully funded mission. What does that mean? You're on a mission. You're the tip. You're the deep sea diver at the bottom, and there's this tube up, and there's this crew, and there's this vast resources that are available to you, but you can't be in charge of all that. You can't know all that. You have to be the one down here focusing, going on the journey, feeding the information back, and then your team feeds back to you. And you might hit doubt. Oh no, doubt, fear, this person just attacked me, and blah, 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 blah. And what do I do? And I give up, and you go through those demons, and you go through those inner deaths, like the hero's journey, right? And then you come back, and then you decide, no, I'm not going to die, I'm going to live. And you ramp up, and you say, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm going to speak up. I'm going to be who I am. But this is all that's happening. The doubt can't stop you, because the doubt is an agreement. What is the antidote for doubt? If you want to get deep into energy work, come with me. I've got Light Body School and Infinity Light Weaving and lots of different ways for you to learn in your own pace in a soft, beautiful, easy way that also goes very deep. But here's the thing. You are both the actor and the director and the writer and so on. And so when you recognize that, rather than feeling alone, feeling punished, feeling guilty, feeling bad, just accept if you're feeling guilty and then go, I wonder what that's all about. Where did that come from? Who gave that to me? And the journey will be freeing you up to a higher state. When you have doubt, you have a deep core program that interrupts everything. So my friend would hypnotize me, and I would have these journeys, and they became more and more vivid, and they became more and more real. And I was delighted. I mean, it was amazing. It was like being put into a movie and going on an adventure, you know, in The Hobbit or something. And we would talk about it afterwards, and we would start to like look at the meaning behind it, and I was starting to understand energy deeper and receive. And I would go home and I would spend the rest of the day, maybe another day, feeling just on top of the world. Wow, that guidance, and I think this means that, and this was such a vivid experience, and wasn't it wonderful to have this tangible experience of other worlds and so on. And yet the doubt would creep in, and by the end of a day or two or three, I would have completely dismissed it. Oh, I made that up, wasn't real, I probably imagined it, I'm not really guided, I'm not really good enough to have guides, there's no way this beautiful angel would have talked to me, on and on and on, doubt, doubt, doubt. And my poor girl in my head, I call that all your programs in your mind, right, is your poor girl, your poor guy, telling you, who are you? You're not good enough for that. Who do you think you are? There's no way you're gonna get this, blah, 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 blah. And so they take away the power, and they take away the communication, and they create static, and they create doubt. And then you become more and more disappointed in this disappointment loop, craving and desire, want this, and then you try, and then it doesn't happen, or you get there, but you let it go. So I had ups and downs. I'd get exactly what I want and live this epic life, and boo, then it'd all go away for some reason, and then back again, and then ooh. And so when you say, you know, that's been an interesting journey, I think I'm ready for something new. So you're going to turn doubt into trust. And trust is very powerful. This is a state of willingness. So I want to give you a very powerful secret. If you use the word willing, and you get the scale of consciousness at shop.nanakasha.com, it's free. And I really recommend that you get that, because if you look, the the states that you are at, desire, disappointment, these lower states, they're very difficult to be able to receive guidance. So it isn't that you are what did one person who joined the Intuition Awakening class say? I'm going to be the student in the corner like a lump of clay, not being able to receive anything because I've done all this work for years and years and years. And what I saw in her energy field was that all this work she's done for years and years and years has been integrated into her energy body. And I saw this gorgeous garden there. And I was like, wow, but you everything you've done has actually been useful, even though you don't think it has. And now it's time for that to be opened up. And there was other energy in her field. So when the doubt takes away the joy, the power, the possibility, the excitement, the higher states of consciousness, it can drag you into low states that slow you down, make you doubt, make you procrastinate, not take action, not feel the energy to take action towards what you really are meant to do. So when you take doubt and use it more like a tool, well, you know what? I'm not sure that this is the best thought process for me anymore. I'm not sure this is the best self-image for me anymore. I'm not sure that constantly saying, I'm too busy, I have to take care of everybody else, and being exhausted and never having time for myself, anybody been there? Then I'm not sure that that's the best way for me to help myself or anybody else, because it isn't. Because when you drain yourself being, oh, I'm obligated to all these people and they need me and they're going to not like me if I don't show up and fix their lives and do everything for everybody, and carrying, lots of my clients, I see them carrying energetically, carrying everyone else. I have to rescue them, I have to fix them, I have to be the best everything. I tried to be the best everything for decades. It's exhausting, okay? So your doubt is going to birth into trust that you are guided, that you or have this imaginal cell within you, that you can make a decision and then make another decision. This was the most brilliant advice I ever heard. Do you ever get like, oh, I don't know, I think I should do that, but I'm not sure, and you procrastinate making that decision? And there's a moment that's ripe, and then you miss out on an opportunity or a job or an experience, or you go have the experience but with a lot of doubt, and it's so draining. The doubt is so draining. But what if you took the doubt, picked it up, and said, wait a minute, all my lights are going off. I doubt that this is real. I doubt that this is the optimal thing for me. I don't think that I'm going to believe that I'm not good enough anymore. I don't think that I'm going to spend all my energy or half my energy worrying what everybody else thinks. I'm going to start listening to my inner knowing, my inner self. So today I want to activate your inner knowing. So we did your inner seeing with your soul, your inner hearing with your inner voice, and now we're going to take a look at the idea that doubt, excuse me. So make a decision and then make another decision. And don't doubt your decisions. So if you were going to support someone you love, your child or your partner or something, and they made a decision and you were like, I'm right here with you, I'm behind you, I've got you, you're doing great, don't worry, it's going to happen for you, I'm going to make you a special meal tonight, I'm going to give you lots of hugs, I'm going to send you just encouraging notes in your lunch. You know, what would you do for someone else? Are you doing that for yourself? We're here on a journey. We're here to do epic stuff. You have incredible talents and gifts that need to come out into the world, and yet what happens? We spend all our time running around trying to figure out what everybody else wants and what we're supposed to do and what we're right for, and we don't listen to our heart, and we rarely go with what we want. And usually when you give in and say, oh, I'm just going to do whatever I want, it's not something healthy. It's like, I'm going to eat pizza for 5 days in a row because I'm depressed, right? And instead you're like, wow, what if I ate green juice 5 days in a row and I felt amazing, and suddenly my body was so vibrant that I was thinking more possibilities and I was going into willingness. So I want you to go into willingness. At willingness, there's trust. And at trust, there's this incredible energy in your emotional field, which is your power center, that says, it's okay. Trust that everything is going to work out. Trust that your higher self is there. Trust that you're already encoded with the answers. Trust that you've had the experiences you need. Trust that your imaginal self, your inner knowing, your heart, your soul, your highest self, something somewhere knows what to do. And that your job is to be the conscious, present, in the moment part of this enormous being that you are. You chose to be the front runner. You're the deep sea diver. You're down here in this very emotional reality. And when you say, okay, I'm going to use doubt to clear away all of these blocks and to free myself to get an inspiration and immediately go think about it and follow it and do the things that just come to me. What the hell? So go on a date with your higher self. It's one of my favorite things to do. Nobody else. Don't tell anybody what you're doing or where you're going. And set aside time, I would say at least 3 hours if possible, or a whole day. And if you have to stay home, do it at home. If you can go out, go out. So the going out part is fun because you're choosing to listen to your inner self and listen to your heart or your desires. Now, part of the intuition awakening is going to be, how do you decipher between the doubt voice, the programs of fear voices and guidance that comes up, and your truth or your inner self? And this is something we're really going to go into in the class, so I hope you join us. There's a aspect that says, oh, don't do that, don't do that. Oh, bad things are going to happen. Remember last time that you spent money and it didn't work out well, and this and this and this, and probably say, okay, well, I won't. That is most likely your fear voice, your doubt programs in your mind, your poor girl. When you feel like, wow, I think that I'm supposed to move. I think I'm supposed to move, but I love where I am. So I think I shared, we moved to Mexico, how we did that, weird following intuition around everywhere. Within 2 weeks or something ridiculous, we'd gotten rid of everything and moved out of our house from inspiration to end result. So it was that listening, trusting. Yes, we're going to trust it. Okay, what's next? We would sit on the couch and say, well, what's next? Well, let's think about where we might go. Well, what if we drove down into Mexico? Okay, well, let's look at what's down there. What does it look like? What's the rental market? We would search and we'd talk about it. Then we'd go pack. Then just clean and pack, start cleaning and packing. I don't know where I'm going. Go get rid of this. I didn't know every step of the way. I didn't know where we were going. And then we left, and I had some speaking gigs, and then we had to get on a plane in a few weeks. So we had to go different places. We got called to Palm Springs. We found a place that gave us this beautiful little house, and we stayed there for a week and had this really insular experience and had some very expansive intuitive experiences there. And these things wouldn't happen if I was like, oh, I need to be like this. I need to hold my house. I really need to have this. I need things to be a certain way. And even though it was scary and I didn't know what was going to happen, and part of me was judging myself, I was still going on the journey. Okay. So my client that got better, she hit that wall. And what the wall was is when you raise your vibration and you become willing. You become willing. Just say to yourself, I'm willing. I'm ready and willing, and I'm open and receptive. I'm ready and willing. I'm open and receptive. You are the master of your body. You are the head of this whole thing. Everything's waiting for you to decide. You're here on a fully funded mission. We've got what you need. What do you need? What do you need? We're ready to get it for you. We're ready to put it in front of you. We're ready to give you a dream. We're ready to send the people. We're ready to show you your love mate. Soulmate is right here. We're ready. We're ready. And we're like, oh, frustrated, down, looking here, trying hard, working and doing all this stuff. Right? So she hit a wall because she raised her vibration. Everything started going really well. And suddenly she clearly could see that her entire family was a network of dark energy that was holding her back. That she was never going to be able to rise to the heights that her soul wanted. She was never going to be able to fully embrace her gift or work and maintain a relationship with her family. And this freaked her out. She was very close to them. They were in her life. She was a single parent, so she really relied on them. But they also controlled her. They criticized her. They were on top of her all the time about who she was, what she was doing, what she shouldn't do, what she should do. This is the choice you're going to have to make. Do I doubt myself? And do I stay attached to what other people want? And so she went through some very difficult times. She went through some fears around money. She got angry with me. She called up one day and she said, why did you change my life so much, this course with you, in so many positive ways, and I hate you? I absolutely hate you. She came to one of the classes and she asked that. And I said, oh, this is exciting. I love this. I'm so glad you brought it up because I can see the energy and I've been through these patterns and I've seen clients go through these patterns and I understand the journey. And so what it was like, wow, this is fantastic. I'm freed. I've healed my body. I realized my talents. She wanted to move. She wanted to travel. She met somebody. She was in love with them. She wanted to move to a different country, and she was stuck there with her family. It was literally like a network of energy that was holding her there. And she succumbed to it several times. She went back into it, and she came out. And I said, well, of course you do, because your inner fear, your doubt girl, is saying that person, me, is the reason that you are in this struggle right now. If you just stayed where you were miserable, but at least you didn't realize that you need to go do this thing that scares you. You need to go do this thing that's going to upset people you love. So doubt is going to come up. The doubt girl, the doubt boy in your mind and your head is going to come up, and you're going to take it and you're going to say, no more doubt of myself. I want to listen. I want to follow this inner knowing, and I want to know what will happen. I went to Egypt, and when I went to Egypt, I booked it 8 months beforehand, and I went with a mentor, a mystery school spiritual teacher, and I was there for 3.5 weeks. Changed my life, changed who I was completely. And this was the work that most influenced me because it drew from many different modalities, and that's how I do my work now too. We go to places, we use the land and the activations and the energies and all the things. So I knew beyond anything in my life that this was what I was meant to do. This was going to change my life. And I had to fight with my husband at the time about leaving my kids who were very young. I had to go to the trouble to make sure everybody was taking care of them and he wasn't going to be disturbed. And the money was a big issue. So it was a big bunch of guilt and drama around spending the money. But again, my inner self knew I have to be there. I have to be there. It's not an option. I can't back down. So I found the solutions. I put everything together. I made it happen. He wasn't happy, but I still had to follow my inner intuition. Then as we got closer, they declared a Gulf War. I don't remember which Gulf War, but it was one of those ones that I found odd. They said, we're going to start the war on Tuesday. Well, that was the day I was flying out, so naturally my whole family freaked out, and everybody was like, you shouldn't go, you shouldn't go, you shouldn't go, you shouldn't go. And I looked at everybody and I said, I feel 100% peace around this. I know it's going to be fine. I'm supposed to be there. And I just knew that in my body, and I had reached a point where I was willing to say it. I wasn't going to back down based on what everyone else wanted. And it was truly phenomenal. I transformed. We spent 2 days, 4 hours in the Great Pyramid in the King's Chamber, chanting, ascending, doing work. We blew out the power in the whole Giza Plateau. I had transformations. I had huge fears come up, and then we would go to temples, and we always went to temples. We had it to ourselves. We were able to do deep spiritual work. We could see orbs all over. It was just beyond belief. I became very good friends with a few of the Egyptologists, and it was like soul mates, soul friends from deep before. We were just clinging to each other at the end. When I arrived, one of the Egyptian people at the airport picked up my bag and said, welcome home, looked in my eyes, and I just almost melted onto the floor into tears. I got to my hotel. It was late at night. It was the hotel right next to the pyramids, and it was pitch dark. I went out on the balcony, and I was literally like, where are the pyramids? I can't see anything. And pew, all of a sudden, the lights came on the pyramids, and it was right there. And I was like, pew. By the time I left my room, I could feel the energy from the pyramids, vroom, 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 coming to me, because these are accelerated experiences. And that's what the Intuition Awakening is going to be like. Instead of having to travel for a summer camp, we're going to bring these experiences to us. We may travel to different places, and different energies may come in. We may attune to anything from ascended masters, angels, nature spirits, trees, Gaia, celestials, ancient cultures, your ancestors, you in different times, different lives, your higher self, your body elemental, your I am presence. There's so many layers to who you are. And doubt puts a barrier between you and you. And so let's go ahead and dive in. Let me say hi real quick. Hello, hi Gino, and hi Vivienne, Susan, Sandra and Julie. Hi, sweetie. Yay. Hi, Irita. You made it live. Hi, Chris. Hi, Lori. Lori had a reading yesterday. It was awesome. So when you join the Intuition Awakening, you get a reading with me, a mini reading, and it was way fun. Fired. Yes, it is. Hi, Nabila. I'm seeing both sides of a decision and fear of missing out, or if I don't do it, and fear of failing my own guidance if I do it. Exactly. And so this is what happens is the doubt monster comes and just eats away. And if you're looking at a decision from doubt on all sides, you're not connected. You're not seeing clearly. I am a master with the pendulum from some very severe training. Pendulum is my favorite tool to tell truth, my truth testing method. You could do pendulum, you could do body compass, you could do muscle testing. But any of these require skill. They require practice because your emotions will get in the way, especially of a pendulum. So I knew I couldn't test, is my husband dying of cancer? Because I'm emotionally attached to, oh my God, I don't want him to be. So I'm not going to be a clear and open channel. I'm going to be restricted. So I learned from very, very strict mentor how to be a clear and open channel, because I had to test people all day long. What's what percentage of their function of their liver, of their chakras, of their subtle bodies? What's this and what's that? And we charted out. It was very detailed, scientific, almost information coming through. And so that ability made me understand that when I am attached emotionally, when I'm feeling a fear, just look at the scale, right? If you're feeling anything below courage, you're in a force state. A force state is a heavy state. You are not thinking clearly. You're not receiving all the guidance you need. You can't possibly tune in to the best possibilities. And I can tell you there's solutions to everything, everything. There's a spiritual solution, there's another path, there's another way. But when you doubt, when you're stuck in your conditioning, when you try to predict your future based on your past, you can't tune into these infinite possibilities. So don't make a decision. Don't make a decision, just say that. It's really hard for me because I like to take action and just woo, 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 woo. And I've learned to not respond to something that's emotional for at least a day. And through that day, I'll feel the emotion go up and down, even if it's vague or the volume's down, because I don't really go through a lot of really intense emotion. Maybe I can't think of something, but I don't do this, oh, like I used to, right? I'm more watching it like, oh, that's interesting. And by the end of the 24 hours or so, I'll definitely know. If it's something more intense, then I do that. But I knew without knowing. I didn't have logical proof. Even my ex-husband, he was an aerospace engineer, very promoted for his age. He was in his 20s, and he was at the same level as 50, 60-year-old guys that had been doing this their whole lives in the industry. He was very talented, but we left LA. My business crashed. We closed it. We decided to leave LA. We moved to New Mexico. I knew later, for obviously spiritual reasons. And he said, I want to do something that doesn't involve making machines that kill people. So he didn't know what to do, and he suddenly decided to go into nursing. And he was this big, muscly guy, and everybody was like, you're what? You're going into nurse? What? And he couldn't explain it, even to me. He just said, I don't know. And I heard him for years and years and years say to people, why'd you become a nurse? He said, I can't explain it. I just knew that I was supposed to. I knew that's what I was meant to do, and I had to do it. And I remember telling him, I don't care what you do. Quit your job. I want you to be happy. Follow your heart. That's the best advice you can give anybody, because adding doubt to anybody else's situation, you know what it feels like for people to add the doubt to you, right? So, alrighty, let's go ahead and dive into knowing without knowing. I have a cool quote for you again today. Excuse me. Excuse me. All right, so this is the Intuition Awakening Challenge. This is our last day for an activation. Tomorrow we're going to do live readings. I hope I see you there. Akasha here, and it's interesting when you put down, who are you? What are the little things? They change over time, sometimes a new way of saying it. A couple years ago, I did a vision quest here with the Black Jaguar, and we went also the next time to the Uxmal Pyramid of the Magician or the Seer. And then it kept coming to me. You're a seer. Seer, we apply to different things in the past. You may have a positive or negative feeling about it, but it became more and more obvious that that's exactly what I am, is I'm seeing. I'm a seer. So, so I do want to, again, welcome you and invite you to join me in the Intuition Awakening. We've had several people email us with questions or with specific requests they need, and I'm happy to help you with whatever that is. So let me know, but go check it out, nanakasha.com/intuition camp. There's a link below. And this is one of the messages that your inner guidance system is telling you. If you're loving this week, if you're testing this week, some people have said, I'm testing this week to see if this resonates with me. Some people have had scary experiences in the past, learning, healing, or turning their energies on. Some people have had frustrating experiences, right? And so test it out, but here, listen, okay? So this is some of the things included, and the topics are going to include money intuition, health challenges, body talk, talking to your body, talking to the dis-eases and issues coming up in your body, love, purpose, intuition, third eye opening, many, many, many more things. If you go to that page, you're going to see a huge list of things that we're going to be playing with. These are your bonuses, and you're going to get a mini reading with me. You're going to have these different things to repeat. And in October, we're going to do a one-day retreat called Intuitive Manifesting, and online. And I want you to get this because you're going to get that for free, okay? You're going to get to come to that for free. And it'll be really awesome if you're in the summer camp and then we all get together a month or two later, right? And we're like, woo, let's use our intuition to manifest. So we're going to be looking at manifesting into the next year because we are in the middle of this massive transformation in our lives and for everything on the planet. So today, the death of doubt and the birth of trust. So we're going to tackle one of the biggest problems in trusting, hearing, and acting on your intuition: doubt. You know what you know, and sometimes you know without knowing that you know, or without analyzing that you know, or without researching that you know, or without thinking what you know. So I've given you some examples of just knowing, right? Just following. I have so many amazing stories from clients who are just like, I just knew I was supposed to. I had a magical friend who I met in Egypt, and we would meet up in different places in the world. She was British, and so when I was in London, right before I met Chris, she came down to London with one of her friends, another amazing man, and we would walk out of our hotel and do the go on a date with your higher self idea. We would just be like, which way do we turn? Left, let's go left. Okay, do we get on the bus? No, let's get on the next bus. Okay, do we go over here? Do we go in this shop? And the whole day, this is how you do a date with your higher self. You just ask, what do I want to do? And I like to make it an adventure. We've even been out in the countryside going, turn down this pathway, you know, not knowing where we're going, or we've been in the city and gotten on and off the underground and up and down and through different things and ended up at this epic, you know, restaurant that was exactly what we wanted, and the owner was this spiritual being that we were meant to meet, and it's just it's magic, okay? So this is when your intuition and your experience comes together and you live this balance of action, trust, and guidance. All right, so the trust is important. The doubt has to be flipped to trust. So energy is all one thing. Lack and abundance are the same energy. They're different in degree only, like temperature. So lack and abundance might be 0 degrees, right, and 30 degrees. They're on two ends of the scale, but as you turn abundance down, 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 it starts to become lack, right? Doubt and trust. Doubt, when you pick it up and you say, I'm no longer using this against myself, I'm using this against the things that do not seem to support me anymore, start to dial to the other degree and move into trust. When you trust, when you listen, when you do these things to activate, open, cleanse, and clear yourself, when you learn to decipher and receive, now you can take action based on an inner flow, a guidance, feeling like you know what you're meant to do, okay? So let's dive into the death of doubt. So here's a quote that I liked. It said, all great men, so of course I put women, and I'll do a little disclaimer in a second. All great men or women are gifted with intuition. They know without reasoning or analysis what they need to know. Now, one of the things that's important about this is all great men. So the idea behind the idea here, the quote here, is what we would call successful people, people who are clearly doing what they're meant to do. that have a career that is their gift, their talent. They're able to express themselves. They do well. Maybe they make a lot of money, right? They're great because they are living their path and their purpose. So I love it when I see a musician or an artist or an actor, when I see a spiritual teacher, when I see whatever, somebody, my accountant used to be this way. I met her, we became really good friends, but one of the reasons I fell in love with her is she said, my dad had an accounting firm. I love accounting. I started working at the accounting firm when I was 12. I took it over. It's all I want to do. I love it. It's my life. I thought, oh my God, I want you to do my accounting because I hate it. And I want somebody who loves it to do it. So love is going into what I do. So she's a great person because she found what she loves and she's doing it. Doesn't have to be what I think would be great. That wouldn't be great for her. So your success that you seek, your happiness, your alignment, you're following yourself, you're living your own path along this up and down journey in life is there and available to you. And when you realize that you are gifted with intuition, not just them, not just some other time, you already have it. It's already there. This intuitive network is there. I've seen it starting to grow in people, energy-wise. Wow, that was a mind-blowing experience. If you remember knowing without reasoning, analysis, what you need to know. This friend I told you about, we would travel around London. She would do this. We'd be standing somewhere and she'd go, I have to talk to that person. And she would just beeline across the restaurant and walk up to somebody and say, who are you? Oh, she'd start talking to the bus driver on the bus, and they were driving, and the bus driver was kind of looking at her, kind of like, what? She's like, I need to talk to you. Who are you? She did this to a man in the underground who worked for the underground. He was directing people to other ways because that station was closed. And she stared at him for the longest time as we were trying to decide what to do. Because we were guided there with our, where should we go now? But it was closed. We were like, well, that's interesting. It's closed. If you go into doubt and say, oh, well, we didn't hear that guidance right because we came to a station that's closed. It's not going to do us any good, blah, 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 blah. Doubt, 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 doubt. But instead, we stood there and went, why are we here? There must be a reason we were here. And she stared at this man, and when some people left asking him, she beelined for him and walked up and looked him in the eyes and said, who are you? And he looked at her and he stopped for a moment. And suddenly we're talking ancient Egypt with this man. He's an incarnation of this and she's that, and we did this and we met in Egypt, and Egypt, ancient stuff. It was like a profound interaction. And then he told us directions on to go to somewhere. We went out and got on a bus. Never saw him again, but it was that stunning. So without reasoning or analysis, without fear or doubt of what someone might think or that she was acting weird, she moved forward and we all had this powerful, positive experience. All right, so let's go ahead, relax wherever you are. Feel free to put my head back. Feel free to close your eyes wherever you are. Relax. All right. All right, so we're going to begin with a rhythm. And you're going to breathe in like you're pulling the breath up from the floor, and it's coming into your belly and your sacral and sweeping up into your heart and your chest, and it's going to rise to the top of your head, and then you're going to let it go, and it's going to go right back down the way it went. So like a wave coming in and a wave going out. All right, deep breath in, slow. Bring the wave in. I enter this sacred space in reverence, presence, openness. Let it go. Deep breath in, bring the wave up. I am ready and willing to receive what I know. Let it go down and out. It's like being flossed with beautiful energy. Again, bring the energy up. Deep breath, feel it coming up through your body, your chest, your heart, your throat, into your eyes, the top of your head. Hold it there. I enter this space open to connecting clearly with my highest self. And release the energy down, goes through you, and relax. Feel like you've been washed, scrubbed, flossed, gently, gently, gently. Relaxing deeper and deeper. Say in your heart, I know. What does it feel like? Did you have a resistance? Did you feel like you dropped a pebble and a little ripple went out through your heart? Say again in your heart, I know. Did it echo out? I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. And one more time, feel yourself in the center of your heart, at the core, at the command center of this tip of your enormous being. You are the captain at the helm, and you are here. You are the one navigating the deep, dark journey. And you are ready to be fully present here, playing your role. You acknowledge and feel all around you, almost like tubes connected to you and little wires, and there's just like you're in a command center with so many channels of information and energy connecting out and out and out and out and out from all the parts of you. You just stand at this helm, you stand here, clear and present. I am connected to all of these channels for my highest good and my truth, for my optimal guidance, for the healing, for the magic, for the wisdom, the strength, the creativity, the clarity, the freedom, the release. I'm reading your energies and the energies that are cloaking you and weighing you down. You're ready and willing to hear through the doubt, hear through others' doubt. You're ready to hear through the drama and the layers of beliefs and the layers of other people and the layers of doubt and the layers of what's happened and what hasn't. And you give yourself permission to open your energy from your heart and let it go out, like going down tiny little veins in every direction. Go out with confidence to reach through. Don't stop. Move through the doubt. Move through. You have what it takes. Just keep finding. Like water finds the path of least resistance, goes under or around, over, softly melts or washes away, carving a canyon in pure stone. Gently, you say, I am ready to be connected with a clear network and know. And that knowing will come to me in this and other ways. Now, standing in your heart, seeing and feeling this energy reaching out from you, new networks and veins opening, moving its way through the layers of doubt and fear and past and every other energy. You say, I know. And like a breath from the depths of your soul, this breeze moves through you and takes that I know, I know, I know, that I know, that I am, that I am. I know that I am one with the infinite, with infinite possibilities and solutions. I know there's a higher path. I know there's someone for me. I know the money is there. I know what's best for me. I know. I know. Oh, I know. Oh, I know. Now anchor into your heart. Sit like a yoga or Buddha pose, anchored in your heart, in your soul, in your center, and receive. Simply relax. Let go. The doubt cannot be here in the knowing. The trust is rising. I'm willing to rise with the trust, to leave the doubt behind. You feel a shift, energy draining, doubt shriveling, dying, losing its strength and life force, uprooted, disconnected. The doubt drains down and out. The trust rises within. Just experience it. What is it like to be immersed in trust? Listening, open, receptive to my knowing. I trust that my highest good, my highest blueprint, my highest selves, that beneficial, loving guides with my highest good in their intent are here, ready. I trust that my body is speaking to me and knows and has the wisdom to heal and align and guide me. I trust that I have the resources, the gifts, the senses to receive. I'm ready to experience trust. You feel yourself immersed in trust, as if infused with the most beautiful energy. What does it feel like? Does it have heat or cold, a smell or a color? Is it like liquid or bubbles? Is it like light? You just feel like you're floating. Have you lost sense of your body or the moment? I trust that I know. I trust and let go. I trust and I receive. I trust. I am that I am, and I am fully supported, funded, equipped, ready. Be in the trust and receive. Just receive. Notice if you are resisting, if you're tense, if you're doubting. Notice if you're analyzing. Notice if you're trying to figure it out. Notice if you're distracted. Drop deeper. Let go. Accept. Now acknowledge. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I acknowledge I have received, I have reconnected, and that I know somewhere within me knows, and I choose to trust that whatever way this has come, whatever way it will guide me, is the optimal way for me at this time. I trust that I've received exactly what I need to know in this moment. And I trust that if I stay centered, I trust that each moment will unfold and I will be connected to seeing with my soul, hearing my inner voice, aligned with truth, knowing, and my highest good. I trust I am on my path. Deep breath in. I know. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bring this knowing into your conscious awareness in this moment, into your body. I know what's next. I know what's best for me. I know what to release. I know what to look for. I know to listen. I know to be still. I know what I know. I am that I am. I accept this new trusting connection. I trust what I know. Thank you for the support. Thank you for the reconnection to my mission and all that is here to support me. I know. Feel your mind and your forehead and your eyes integrating what you know in your brain and your nervous system, your muscles and your cells and your DNA, your emotional field, and every part of your environment. Like landing a little spaceship down into where you are now. Sense and feel the space. I am connected to my inner knowing. I walk, talk, breathe, look, think, choose, decide, eat. I see from this knowing. I choose from this knowing. And I give this energy into every part of my life. Now watch how your life begins to shift and change. Things end or change direction or change the people who are going. Let it happen. Step into it knowing, trusting there must be something else here. It must have been brought to this place, this moment. This must have been canceled. This must be changed. This must have come onto my plate for a reason. The knowing comes from within. Don't force the analysis. Don't force the decision. Let the knowing take over you. Take 24 hours. Take a few days. Sit with it. Let it bring up the doubt, because it will run into it. It will try to tell you you didn't really feel that, or you can't really know. You can't make money decisions, or you can't make this kind of a choice without talking to other people or having someone else's agreement. It's not true. You know. I'm seeing energies with my eyes open. That was very deep, because I'm seeing energy moving and pulsing, and it's very, very different. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. This has been an honor and a blessing to spend this week with you. And I'm very excited to see you tomorrow for our live readings. So the way that'll work is you come on and you put hi, and you say, I'd love a reading. And then we'll come on, and I usually stay at least 2 hours, because I want to help as many people as possible. And even if I don't do your exact question, you're going to get an answer, and you're going to have insights, and you're going to have all these things, because you probably noticed that we're in this special sacred space that I create called an Infinity Healing Chamber. You probably noticed that I'm getting feedback from my clients in my classes, but from this intuition challenge, I've never felt these things. I've never felt anything in my body. I've never known that. I've never gotten an answer before. I get this all the time. There's a combination of energies that I work with, and I trust them, and I let them flow through me. I've become a clear and open channel for what's the highest good in every moment. So when I come on this, or I come on one of the classes, when I'm creating an audio for you, when I'm creating whatever it is, I am there cleared, present, and connected in a state of pure acceptance and love of myself, but also as a channel that the energy that I don't know, I don't want to say, oh, it's this, or oh, it's that, and use my big old brain. At the end, I can use my big old brain and my experience to look at it, analyze it, see the symbolism, go deeper, put them together, and then notice this and that in my world. And that's what your big old brain is for. But first, trust this. Go do something today where you choose from this. Even if it's a predetermined appointment you have, how will you show up? How will you get there? Who will you take there? Do you have too many things between now and your next appointment? Let it go. And be present. All right. All right. Thank you, everyone. Nabila said, at the same time, a Lemurian seed crystal sphere came my way, and the guidance was practically shouting in my head to receive it. Literally wouldn't stop until I did. I love it. I love it. I love it. Lemurian seed. Ooh, I'm finally in my own house, but I haven't unpacked much because we're painting and renovating and doing all kinds of stuff. So I have one somewhere, and I can feel it kind of pulsing right now. That's beautiful. I think it's up. I can feel it here. I think it's up in my closet. Hi, Karen and Jules. Hi, Jules. See you later for our mini reading. And thank you, Sandra. Fabulous 5 days we have shared. Absolutely. So we have one more tomorrow. And then if you want to continue, if you want to keep playing with me, please come to the Intuition Awakening Challenge. Not the challenge, to the course, to the summer camp. Contact me if you have questions. Let me know how I can serve you. Have a beautiful and blessed day. Namaste, everybody. Bye-bye.